Your Flangoo account comes with a tremendous amount of content. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can manage your content so that you always have control over which books your students have access to. Before we get started, you'll notice that my login screen displays all of my Spanish books because I'm a Spanish teacher. If you are a French teacher and you're looking for your French books but you don't see them here, under your profile image, come down to Settings. Here in your settings, you can select which language library is being displayed on your login. So for me, it's Spanish, but if you were a French teacher, you would just click French. And now when I come to my login screen, you'll see that the books displayed are all of the French titles. Or for a German teacher, I would click German. And now you can see all of my German titles. As I'm a Spanish teacher, I'm going to stay in the Spanish titles for now. Just know that all the features and settings that I'm about to show you will work for any of the languages. So the first thing we want to do is we want to get to our Manage Books section. You can get there by clicking on Books up here along the top, or by going to your profile picture and coming down to select Manage Books. Every class group can have its own selection of titles. So the first thing you're going to want to do is, here in the drop-down menu, select which class group you want to work with. So let's do Spanish 1, my first hour class. And then we're going to select which language books we want to work in. So I'm going to work on my Spanish books for my Spanish 1 first hour. As I scroll down, you'll see here are all of the titles that are available to any student in that class. If there are certain books or titles that I do not want my students to have access to, I can simply come here to this little button here that says Active and select it. Now that book has been deactivated for my students in this class. It won't show up in their library at all. I can turn off as many books as I want. You'll notice up here I can turn off books according to category. So if I didn't want the shorticle readers to be available, I can simply click and that turns off all the books in that category. Or I can toggle books on and off by level. Since this is my Spanish 1 class, if I don't want them to have access to pre-level 1 because I think that's too easy for them, I simply turn it off. And now that entire category is gone for those students. And if I ever want to bring those books back, I simply come back here and click. And now all the books are back. If I wanted to, I could click this button here along the top next to where it says Active and turn off every single book in the library and then just turn on one book. Now when my students log into the library, they will only see one book available. This is all a matter of preference. We just wanted to make sure that you always had full control over which titles are available to your students. Just so you can see what it looks like, here I'm logged in as a student and I have every book turned on. So you can see as I scroll through here, every book in my library is available to this student. So let's come over here to our teacher account and let's turn off all of the pre-level ones and all of the level 3 and up readers. So now I'll come back to my student account and I'm going to refresh the page. And you'll see now pre-level 1 is gone. There's level 1, level 2, and my level 3 is gone. Likewise, all of the books that are in categories, all of the levels that I didn't want them to have access to are gone from these lists as well. And just so you can see what it looks like, if I turn off every single book and just turn one book on, and you'll see now when I've logged in, I only have one option. It is the only book that's available to me. I know there are many teachers out there who prefer to have all of the books available so that their students can use it for free reading. Other teachers want to have a little bit more control over exactly which content they're into so that everybody stays on the same page. Again, it's all entirely a matter of preference. It's important to note that turning books on and off in a class library will not affect the books that are in your account. As the teacher, you will always have access to every single book, and they are all always going to show up in your login. Books that have been turned off only affect student accounts. Once you've organized your books and you know exactly which books you want to make available for your class, you can come up here to the button that says Download Library List. And that is going to download a CSV file and that'll get you a nice spreadsheet of all the books that are in your library. Going back to manage books, the other thing that you have control over is the glossary. Now, if you're unfamiliar, the glossary consists of all of these words that have a little underline, and when you hold your mouse over it, you'll see it gives me the translation of those words. So right here next to Active, we have another button that says Glossary. Switching this toggle will change it from our standard glossary to a slightly more robust glossary that's probably more ideal for beginning readers. So let's scroll down here to the book that our student has open, and I am going to change it from our standard glossary to our more robust. So here we can see as the student, this is what the standard glossary looks like. Now let me change that over, and you'll see now I have several more words that are underlined, showing me the translations for these words. You can make these changes to the glossary on a per title basis, or just like turning all of the books on and off, I can come up here along the top and using this toggle, change the glossary for every title in my Flangoo library to the basic or to the advanced. I want to show you one more place where your glossary exists. I'm going to click on a book, which brings me to my summary page, and right here I have a button that says Words to Know. I can click this button, and this gives me a downloadable file of my glossary that I can now print, or I can email to my students, or I can just have as a reference for myself. And then finally, within every title, the very last chapter is the complete glossary. And that does it for managing your books and managing your glossary. I hope this information was helpful. If there's anything else you'd like me to expand on, or if you have any questions at all, you can reach out to us. Just email flangoo@teachersdiscovery.com, or in your Flangoo account, click the button that says Support. My name is Charles. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye now.
Flangoo.com